All right, this is Algebra, lesson 9.1b. We may have a 9.1c, I don't know. We'll see how far we get today. Okay. Okay, here you go. You ready for this? Here's the deal. Here's something that you need to know. It's called the axis of symmetry. Have you heard of that before? Right, we just did that, right? The axis of symmetry actually has a formula. You can just look at the quadratic function and pick out numbers, just like this. If I gave you this and I said y equals 2x minus 3, and I asked you, what's the slope of this? 2x is not the slope. What is the slope? 2. And what is the y-intercept? Negative 3. You know that because you're just picking it out. You recognize that that is the slope-intercept form, and you can look at it and you can pick out the things you need. Does that make sense? You know whatever comes before the x is the slope. You know if there's any number after here, any normal number out there, that's the y-intercept. You know that. The axis of symmetry has the same sort of thing. When you have a quadratic, there are things you can just look at and pick out, and you can plug in, and you can figure out what the axis of symmetry is just based on pulling things out. I will show you. The axis of symmetry is this, minus b over 2a equals the axis, write this down, of symmetry. You need to know this. That's important. Minus b over 2a is very important. Do you remember what the original formula is? What is the formula for a quadratic equation? It's ax plus by plus c equals 0. Agreed? That is the quadratic. That is a quadratic function. That's a quadratic equation. Okay? So, if I give you a quadratic, let me see, they give us one here. 2x squared plus 4x minus 3, right? Y equals this. You can look at this and go, okay, all right. Which one is A? The 2. Which one is B? The 4. Which one is C? Negative 3. Right? You're looking at it, okay? So then you take this right here, and here is our formula, minus b over 2a. What this is going to do is give us what? It's going to give us the axis of symmetry, right? It's going to give us the axis of symmetry. So let's plug it in. What is b? B is 4. So what's minus b? So you go minus, and then you put b out here, 4 over 2 times, what's a? Do you see that this right here and this right here, I just plugged it in. I went down here and grabbed B, I grabbed A, plugged it in. Do you agree with me? Do you see it? Okay. Let's do this. What is negative 4? What is negative positive 4? Negative 4. What is 2 times 2? 4. What is negative 4 over 4? Negative 1. Guess where the line is? Where's the dotted line? Where's the axis of symmetry? X equals negative 1. Yes.
Find the vertex, isn't it always like when you find the vertex and you're at like the point where the vertex is?
Just watch, because you're a little confused. All this formula does is tells you the line. Does that make sense? All minus b over 2a does is tell you where is the dotted line that this thing is being folded across, right? So another thing we could do is we could figure out the y-intercept, right? We could figure out the y-intercept. Okay, we'll get to. Here's the deal. Remember, what do you think this guy is? What do you think C is? What is the thing that's always out there last? It's the y-intercept, right? It's the y-intercept. So guess what? We actually know 2 points on our graph right now. We know that there's the axis of symmetry is right here on what number again? Negative 1. So we know something. We know that there's some things that we know. One thing that we know is this. We know that on our coordinate plane, we know that this thing is, the axis of symmetry is at negative 1. That's going to be the line by which this thing flips on. It means the vertex is going to be on this line. Yes? The vertex is going to be on that line somewhere. We also know that this thing crosses the y where? At -3. Oh, we know that this thing crosses the y at -3. What else do we know about this? Something else. What else do we know about our equation here? It is positive. Isn't it? We know it's positive. So we know that this thing is going to be a right side up u somehow. We also know, listen, if we know that that is one of the points, what's another point that we know for sure? The reflection of it, right? So we know that that's also a point. And we know it's going to be a u. We know it. We don't know exactly where, but we know it's going to be a right side up u. Why? Why is it a right side up parabola? Because this thing's positive, right? These are just things you know. You have to recognize. Okay, so now we know how to figure out the axis symmetry, and we already know how to find the y-intercept. Let's try and figure out what is the vertex. Okay, let's try and figure out the vertex. Here's what it says. I'm on the top of page 527. It says the equation for the axis symmetry is x equals -1. We did that. To find the vertex, use the value you found for the axis symmetry as the x-coordinate of the vertex. We're going to use x as 1. We're going to plug this thing into the original with x being 1. Remember, the whole thing starts with y equals, does it not? It starts with y equals. So if we want to know what y is when x is -1, you plug it in. Does that make sense? So I've got a mess here. I need to erase some things here. Okay. So we're going to take, we know the axis symmetry is x is -1. So we're going to take our original equation down here, this guy. I'll do it in red so that we can be sure that you all see it. The original equation. And we're going to plug it in. We're going to go y equals. I know that at some point this thing x equals -1. In fact, I also know that when x is -1, that's going to be the bottom. We just don't know where the bottom is. So we know that part of it's x is -1. We plug in x is -1. Whatever comes out for y is the point. Look. Here's the original. So it goes 2 times -1 squared plus 4 times -1 minus 3. Do you agree that all I did was I took my original equation down here, and instead of x, I plugged in what x is equal to? What's x equal to? -1. Okay? Y equals -1 squared, 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And then what is 4 times -1? -4 minus 3. 2 minus 4 is -2. -2 minus 3 is -5. Y equals -5. That means that y equals -5, which is right down here. What does that tell us again? That's telling us the vertex. So if we know this point here, and we know that it crosses, we can now do our parabola. We know the bottom. We know at least one place where it crosses the y. We know its reflection. We can draw our parabola. Does that make sense? Now, is it going to be super accurate? Is this going to be like really accurate up here? No. We'll get to that later. We'll get to where we can be even more accurate. We actually have a formula that tells us where it crosses the x-axis. We'll get to that. That's called the zeros, but right now we won't worry about that. Not today. Okay? So, I'm going to just start one from the beginning. All right. I'm going to see if you guys can do this. Okay? I'll give you the list of things to do. All right, it's y equals -x squared plus 6x plus 4. The first thing you need to do is I would draw your coordinate plane, right? So let me come down here. I'll put it in there. Okay. Draw coordinate plane. Second thing I would do is I would find the axis of symmetry. How do you find the axis symmetry? What's the formula? Minus b over 2a. That tells you the axis symmetry. Then, number 3, I would, not only find the axis symmetry, I would draw the axis of symmetry. Number 4, you then need to find the vertex. Find the vertex. How do you find the vertex? Plug in the axis of symmetry for x. Right? Then number 5 is you plot the y-intercept and its reflection. Whoa. And its reflection. Then, plot the vertex. And then you draw the big fat P, the parabola. Okay. You guys can do it. All right, so the first thing we do is we draw our coordinate plane. I've done that. The next thing is you've got to find the axis symmetry. That's this formula right here, right? That's this guy right here. Okay, finding the axis symmetry is minus b over 2a. So I'm going to go up here, minus b over 2a, which is minus b, so minus, in parentheses, don't forget, got to put it in parentheses. You're going to get 6 over 2 times a is negative 1. Negative 6 over negative 2 is positive 3. So we know that our vertex is going to be along positive 3. Yes? Right? We know this. Okay. Next thing I say to do is you draw the axis symmetry. I just did. Now you got to find the vertex. So listen, we know that at some point our parabola, our upside down parabola, I'll put it in blue, is going to be on here, right? And we also know it's upside down. It's going to be on here somewhere, right? It's upside down. It's on there. When it's on there, we know that that is going to be, in this situation, since it's upside down U, we know that's going to be the maximum, right? We know that's the vertex. Wherever our parabola touches, that's going to be the vertex, wherever it is. I don't even know. I haven't done it. But that's the vertex. Don't we want to know the vertex? Because then we can draw the rest of our deal. Let's find the vertex. Okay, so then we plug in x is 3 into the original equation, which is up here. So let's go like this. Y equals negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 4. Right? Right? Okay. 3 squared? 9. Negative 9. What is 6 times negative 3? Oh, why negative 3? Why did I put negative 3? Should be a positive 3, right? Shouldn't that be a positive 3? Plus 6 times 3 plus 4. 6 times 3 is 18, so plus 18 plus 4. Negative 9 plus 18? 9. Plus 4 is 13. Plus 4 is 13. So we know that y is 13 when x is, oh my goodness, so we got to go way up there. All right, let's do it. No big deal. What? I could, but I think I have room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You probably didn't have room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's up here, right there. That is the vertex. Okay? Does that make sense? That's the vertex. Awesome. No big deal. It's up high. On your paper, if you need to do it by 2s, that's cool. Whatever. But that's the vertex. We figured it out. What else do we need? There's only 2 other things we need to know. We need to know, where does it cross the y? Well, what is the y-intercept in this thing? 4. It crosses the y at 4. Okay. Jonathan. If that's true, you know how to do a reflection. It's 3 away from the line, which means that this is going to be 3 away from the line, which means that this thing is right here. Can I now draw my parabola? That was poorly drawn. There it is. There's our parabola. We know it's upside down from the beginning because it was upside down, right? It's negative. Make sense? Okay. Let me all right, give you one more to practice, because this is, all right, let's do this one here. It is x squared plus, oh, I think I did this one already. Did I do this one already? Just a second. Oh, no. Okay, that's fine. We'll do it like this then. So x squared plus 4x plus 3. All positive, you're lucky. Y equals, actually it's f of x equals, what's the difference between f of x and y? Nothing. All right. Okay. Graphic. First thing we do, if you haven't written this down, you should. What's the first thing you should do? Make the coordinate plane, right? I mean, like, get this thing ready. Get this baby ready to go, right? Give yourself room. Coordinate plane. Next thing we need to do is find the axis of symmetry. We've got to find out, where's this thing being folded? Where's my coordinate plane going to be folded into? That is b minus b over 2a. Equals, so then we have minus 4 over 2 times 1, right? Negative 4, that equals negative 4 over 2, which equals negative 2. So I'm going to erase all this and just put down that the axis of symmetry is negative 2. Okay, so we know that's true. Here's our axis of symmetry, right? That's the thing that's being folded. Next thing we're going to do is we have to find now the vertex. Got to find the vertex. Where on here? First of all, we know, is this a positive? Is this an upside down or right side up? What is it? It's a right side up U. If I was just to ask you this right here, and this is part of your homework, if I was just to ask you, does that have a maximum or a minimum? You have to, in your head, go, wait a second, that's one of these, right? It's a right side up parabola. So does it have a maximum or a minimum? It has a minimum, right? Oh. So you can just look at this in 2 seconds and go, oh, that's a minimum. Oh, okay. Anyway, so we now know that it's a right side up parabola. We know, if you wanted to here, what could you do right off the bat? You just go, what would I do? What could you plot right now? You could plot the y-intercept is at 3, right? We know that. It's fine. We just cheated. We went out of order. It's okay. It's right there, right? We have to find the vertex. That means we're going to plug in negative 2, because somewhere on this thing, somewhere on here, also, what else do we know has to be true? If this is a right side up U, a right side up parabola, and this is one of the points, where is my vertex guaranteed to be? Below that. Does that make sense? It's guaranteed to be below this point because it's a right side up U. These are just things that I'm trying to help you so you can see and understand this is how to kind of estimate, right? You know it's going to be below that. Okay, so we'll plug in negative 2. Y equals negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 squared is 4. What is 4 times negative 2? Negative 8 plus 3. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. That means that this thing's vertex is right here at negative 1. Right? Okay. If that guy's here, we go over here, the same number, and go, oh, it's right here, it reflects. There's our parabola. There it is. Right? How many of you got that? The vertex is down here at negative 1, right? You would put a positive 1, right? Okay, right? But you get it, right? That's just a math mistake. Everybody understand what to do? If you look at your homework here, we're starting on number 9 from page 531. It says, for this, find the vertex, the equation of the axis of symmetry, and the y-intercept of the graph. Can you do all those things? Can you just look? You can do that, right? Then, for number 14 and 16 for you guys, it says determine whether the function has a maximum or minimum. Can you just look at one of those things and tell me if it has a maximum or minimum? Yeah. Then it says state the maximum or minimum. To find the maximum or the minimum, what do you have to find? The vertex. In order to find the vertex, what do you have to have? The axis of symmetry. Does that make sense? We're kind of going backwards here. Then it says, what's the domain and the range? Any parabola. Listen, any parabola, I don't care if it's upside down or right side up, What's guaranteed to be true for the domain? It's all real numbers because it is going forever left and right. Okay? It's now the maximum and the minimum, that's where you have to figure out what it is with the range, right? Y equals, okay? And then for numbers 18 and 20, to graph those things, you know how to do that now. We've done this. So I think you guys are going to be fine. I'm going to let you guys do your, well, you don't have time to do your homework, but I'm going to give you your homework right now. It is page 531, 9 through 20 even. You guys could not, 9 through 20. Oh, I say all. No, I'll make you guys do the even ones. That's fine.